This is the plaintiff, Marvin Weinberg. He says he's been mercilessly harassed in his own neighborhood by the defendants, who constantly taunt him and have made his life miserable for the past 8 years. Enough's enough. He can't live like this anymore and is suing for the $10,000 in damages to his self-worth and the car they vandalized. These are the defendants, Richard, Elise, and Matthew Weinstein. Richard says the plaintiff lives 200 feet from their house, and 8 years ago, he and the guy got into a fight, and he punched him and had to spend the night in jail over it. Bottom line, they didn't scratch the car. They're the ones being harassed and don't owe him a penny. They're accused of causing problems. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $10,000 for unlawful prosecution and harassment.
All parties, please use your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Leon is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Mr. Weinberg, you and the Weinsteins are neighbors?
No, we're not neighbors.
Okay. How is it that you know Mr. Weinstein?
I don't know him.
Well, you're suing him.
I mean, I know where he lives, right?
Okay.
And,
do you live in the same neighborhood?
Yes, we live up the street from each other.
Okay. And apparently is there some problem, gentlemen? Can you lift your heads? I like to see people's eyes when we're in the court. All right. Mr. Weinberg, how is it that you and Mr. Weinstein have contact with each other? You live down the block from each other?
Yes.
All right. Now, apparently, years ago, there was the initial problem between you folks. What was it that happened?
Okay. He has been harassing me, giving me the finger. He would make gestures with his arms, trying to intimidate me. And I just got tired of this. So one day, it was 6 years ago in June of 2014, I gave him the finger as I drove by. He came running up the street. He tried to grab my cell phone, so he wanted to throw it, so he would break the phone. And I might have pushed him. I don't remember what happened exactly. But the next thing I know, I was on the ground, and he was punching me. Now, this man is morbidly obese, and he had pinned my shoulders down, and I tried to throw him off. I couldn't do it, and he just continued to punch me. Now, my face was all swollen, my glasses were mangled, and I told the people who were there, I said, call 911, call 911. And that was the first time that we ever, met.
But here's what I don't get. Usually people don't, give the finger to each other and punch each other out. There's a problem that happens beforehand. What was the problem? Why did that happen? Why were you even giving him the finger? And what happened originally?
He was just harassing me. He would give me the finger when.
Why are people giving each other? Why are grown men giving each other the finger randomly? There had to be an original incident.
You'll have to ask him. I don't know.
I will. Mr. Weinstein, what was the original? You spent a night in jail for punching him. What happened before the punch? How did that even happen?
Honestly, I was upset because Mr. Weinberg has been giving me the finger for years before this. And years.
Why are people giving each other the finger randomly? Am I the only one who thinks this is nuts?
I don't know.
I'm trying to understand.
Judge, I don't know, but after I went into jail, I've been leaving him alone. I haven't even gone near him. What he's saying to you,
I'm really interested in understanding why it is that two neighbors who live down the block from each other are randomly giving each other the finger. Why? What was the first thing?
I don't know. He's the one who thought it. So I really don't know. I just didn't like it because my wife and son were outside with me. I thought he was giving either my son, who was at the time in his teens, or my wife, who's a woman. We've had numerous run-ins with each other. Numerous.
Does anyone actually remember what caused the run-ins? Or you literally are looking at me and neither of you can remember how it was born?
Okay. what happened, maybe that year in 2014 or a year or two before that, I was sitting in the park and he came behind me on a bicycle and he said to me, "You can't be here." And I turned around. I didn't know who this man was. And I said, "Who the hell are you?" That was, again, that he's been harassing me. He's been, doing all kinds of, he scratched my car. I had him arrested for assault and battery. He didn't have a mark on him. I was the one who was aggrieved.
Okay, well, he spent a night in jail. What happened with that criminal case?
I paid a fine, and that's it. It's been.
Well, no, you pled guilty to a criminal charge, right?
Yes, yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry. Yeah, I did. I pleaded guilty.
So you have that on your record. So you have a lawsuit, Mr. Weinberg, against all of the Weinsteins, including, this is Matthew. You're the son?
Yes, I am.
And how old are you, Matthew?
I'm 23.
All right, and you're suing all of them, $7,000 for harassment, car scratches. Tell me about the car scratches.
Okay, well, first off, when he assaulted me, I had an order of protection against him. Now,
there was no order of protection.
I had walked down the block, and he comes out of his house, and he yells at me, "You can't walk here." I don't speak to him because he had assaulted me one time. I don't want to say anything to him because I don't know what he's capable of doing.
Did you ever call the police and say he violated the restraining order?
I don't think I did that. No, I didn't know.
Right. Okay. Tell me, let's talk about what's happened recently. According to you, all three of them scratched your car because you're suing all three of them. Tell me what happened.
Okay. So I have a witness, but the person didn't want to come here. But she stood in front of the son, and he scratched an arrow, a shape of an arrow, into my trunk. And I just can't take it anymore. I want this to stop.
Take a look at the pictures that are up here. How many times did your car get scratched?
Once in June of 2019. Then the arrow on the trunk was done a few months ago. And then Mr. Weinstein found out I was parking my car like 7 to 8 minutes walking because I didn't want him to, do something to my car. Then a neighbor of mine and we got into an argument, and that neighbor, his name is Robert, told Mr. Weinstein where I parked my car. I came out the next day, and there were two, you could see the X's that were made on the driver's side. It's in the passenger. It's scratched all over. I mean, it's just. I mean, the only thing that they haven't done is the hood and the top of the car.
Mr. Weinstein, young Mr. Weinstein, Matthew, did you scratch this man's car?
I did not, Your Honor. I did not. There was an incident, however, in front of my grandma's apartment. He came at me and he started threatening my grandma's aide. My grandma has a live-in aide.
And we have a letter from her. You might have a copy of it.
I do.
She was at the incident, but she couldn't be here because she's off until this weekend.
But that incident he may be referring to, but I did not touch his car. I do not have any intention of doing that. And
What happened in that incident? Tell me what he said to your grandmother's aide.
He started yelling at us saying we scratched the car. And he was just making us scared. He was, like I said, he threatened my grandma's aide, and he was causing...
How did he threaten your grandma's aide?
I believe he said go back to Africa because she's African American. And he was, I don't know.
And that's actually in the statement that she provided, correct? Yeah, it is in the statement. I read it.
Yeah.
Did you say that to his grandmother's aide? Did you tell her to go back to Africa, Mr. Weinberg?
No, I did not. No, I did not.
Why are you lying about it?
But you're lying too.
You're lying too. I love that. Okay. All right. Mr. Weinberg, according to you, you feel that Matthew Weinstein did it but you're still suing mom and dad, I guess, for the harassment, not for the damages to the car. I'm not sure. But you say you feel it because a neighbor told you that he saw him do it. Do you have that neighbor here to testify? Let's hear from the neighbor.
No, he's not here. No, he's not here.
Okay, that's what we call hearsay then. It's complete hearsay. So anybody can say somebody saw somebody do something. I have to have a chance to cross-examine that individual. So do you have any evidence that they are responsible for the scratches? I know you have your suspicions, and I might have suspicions, but suspicions are not the same as proof. Do you have any proof that any of them damaged your car?
No, I don't.
Do you people like living this way?
No, Your Honor, and I wanted to say something. I instantly asked the local police department, my local politicians, all of them, if there's something we could do about this whole thing. They asked Marvin to come and mitigate this whole thing.
Mediate.
In the police office. Mediate, sorry. And he said no. He said no straight up.
That actually would be a really good idea. Did the police ever ask you to sit down, Mr. Weinberg, and mediate anything?
Yes, they did, but I did not feel comfortable talking to him. It was a road rage case, and I started to record him. You probably have the video of it. And he just thought it was okay to curse me out and threaten me. I mean, they could hear.
What am I supposed to be seeing here?
I don't have a picture here right now.
I've watched this video, and all I see is that somebody's walking their dog, and I don't see a whole lot more than that. And it's just you videotaping him across the street. I don't understand what he's doing that's so awful in the videos, Mr. Weinberg.
Oh, my battery's going low.
Take a second and put a charger. I don't want to end up losing your testimony.
I can do it, but I would have to go into the kitchen.
Okay. Mr. Weinstein, explain something to me. According to Mr. Weinberg, there was a note left on your car, and here's a picture of it that says, "Car is monitored by camera, so smile and see you in jail." When did you put that on your car?
It's been there for years.
How many years?
Yes.
Why would you have that on your car?
Because somebody slashed my tires. Okay? I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying it's Marvin. I didn't say anybody. I got a police report. Bang, boom. I got my money back.
Oh, they gave you money to repair your tires?
Yes. Yes, the city of New York does that.
Oh, you got to love New York. Okay, so go on. Mr. Weinberg, every time that you had a confrontation with him, you would write a poem about it. Is that correct, Mr. Weinberg?
Yes, that is correct.
And you have submitted into evidence many of your poems, but they're laced with so much profanity, it's kind of hard for me to pick one to read. Let's try this one. Wait. To tape him said needed his permission. Back then, lie to provoke me didn't work. Recording me, not awkward position, a goal for me to make him go berserk. An idiot. Time for me to annoy. A decade of pain, my turn to destroy. I think that you have fun with this. That's what I think. I think you do too, Mr. Weinstein, to some extent. I don't think you should. I think you're making each other's lives miserable.
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says that his self-worth is really suffering at the hands of the defendants who mock and bully him whenever he steps outside. But the defendants say it's the plaintiff causing all the problems. Let's go back into the courtroom.
Mr. Weinstein, you have a counterclaim against Mr. Weinberg. Tell me about your counterclaim.
Well, this harassment has gone on too long, okay? A year after I got arrested, I was sitting outside with a friend of mine. Mr. Weinberg called the police on me and told them I had a gun. Now, this person I was sitting with was an off-duty cop. So when the police came with 20 cars, I wasn't arrested because I don't have a gun. I never owned a gun. And I don't know why he called the police. And I asked the police to make an arrest for false, whatever they call that. Because that was really ridiculous to make all the police come from one.
And why didn't they? They didn't, though,
I don't know. No, Your Honor.
Oh, you know they didn't.
Because
here you are sitting with an off-duty cop who was with you the whole time, who knows it's a lie, and yet they didn't file a false police report on him?
No. I don't know why.
Right.
He doesn't know why.
Listen to me, gentlemen, I'm done. I can't help you because no one can help you if you guys don't want to help yourselves, okay? Mr. Weinberg, yes, I cannot possibly order Mr. Weinstein and his son and his wife to pay you 10 grand because someone told you the son did something and you guys keep shooting birds at each other and dislike each other. And Mr. Weinstein, I cannot order Mr. Weinberg to pay you $10,000 for harassment either. You guys don't have proof of anything other than your incessant, petulant, childlike whining, which how is a judge going to sit here and figure out who owes who what for which finger that you gave each other? You can't prove he damaged your vehicle, and you have a fight with another neighbor, so who knows who damaged your vehicle, but certainly you can't prove all three of them did, and you have zero proof to present to me that the son did. So, you know, you come to court and you make your own lives miserable, and you're calling the cops on each other constantly. The cops have probably thrown their hands up. I don't know what you guys think you can achieve here in this court, but as for you, Mr. Weinberg, in your case against him, I find insufficient proof. And Mr. Weinstein, in your case against Mr. Weinberg, I also find insufficient proof. But let me give you guys a word of advice. This is the kind of thing that I later read about in the papers, you know? How about if everybody just leaves everybody else alone? And there's no more fingers, and there's no more yelling, and there's a little peace. Because you guys are a little gray in the temple to be behaving like children like you are.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, one can't help but think this is a new version of the Hatfield and McCoy's dispute. It's amazing. They both got a lecture from the judge. Let me talk to you, Mr. Weinberg, first. You failed in your lawsuit. You don't get anything. Do you think coming to court is going to do anything to help?
Well, I have, you know, scratches that in June of 2019 cost me $1,000. I had an estimate done. I mean, I don't have any video, but the cops do say they know that he did it. I have no proof, but it's only logical that he's the one who's doing it.
Let's go to Mr. Weinstein. Let me ask you, what do you think can be done to bring this madness to an end?
I have left him alone for years, Doug. I'll tell you right now, I'm not doing anything to him.
Right. His end, who knows? But we're just living our lives. We're living our own lives, minding our own business. It's up to him what he wants to do the same.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, well, what an amazing dispute. Unbelievable. A feud, really, not dispute. Let's see what the judges have to say. Here's another version now, another session of After the Verdict.
Watching you try to sort this out and untie this knot and figure out where the truth lies, it took me back to a few civil cases that I sat in where I just was wishing that there were surveillance cameras out there taking it all in. And this case came to us from Queens.
Yes, it did.
Which is your old stomping
grounds. That's right, Astoria.
Right? From the time you were born until you were 7 years old, you were in Astoria, right?
Yep. I got to tell you, no, we did not walk around shooting birds at each other's neighbors. It was.
It wasn't something.
I just, neither one. The fact that neither one of them can tell me what the first problem was.
Oh my God!
It was just.
That makes it sound like the Hatfields and the McCoys.
It's just toxic testosterone. Nobody likes how the other person's looking at them or looking. It's crazy.
The Tiger wants to know this. Hey, Harvey, I'm a registered domestic partner. But the guy's family, it does not like me. He says the house is going to be mine when I die. Do I have a legal right to the house? The answer is no, unless this is in a will or a trust that gives you the house. His word is not going to get you that house. It's got to be in one of those two documents. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case inside the courtroom.